And welcome y'all to the No Sell Podcast, Pro Wrestling Style, Episode 1. I am Dean. That over there is big homie Gio. What's up, player? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm excited. I've been waiting to do this for a while. So I found someone else in their 30s that still watch wrestling like everyone else.
I'm 29. Watch it. I'm 29. I'm 29. Because you said 30s. I'm 29, and I'll be 30.
But I went to summer school for math, so I'm in the Longwood School District. So I was taught anything after 5, you just round up. So.
Nah, not over here. We do exact numbers, and that's the reason why we got into this podcast is because it's a lot of buffoonery. It's a lot of nonsense. But first off, before we do anything, I do want to give a shout out to the homies over there at Jabatia's podcast. Shout out to Barry and Smarks. Also, shout out to the homie Heel Turn. Y'all are out here, as well as Black Wrestling Alliance. Y'all out here doing it. You know what I'm saying? Speaking this wrestling shit, for somebody who looks like me, it's pretty interesting. But besides them, the rest of y'all niggas suck. And we here to fill that space because this shit is whack. It's horrendous. I'm sorry. We're just like, don't get me wrong. Some of it is good. But then some of this, no matter if you want to talk about AEW, if you want to talk about WWE, some of this shit is just hard to watch. We will also, I promise you, ROH and NWA will also be getting into this because I do have the Fight app. I want to also bring good wrestling, talk about good wrestling as well, besides sports entertainment and then WWE Light, that is AEW. So before we get into before we get into as the good Jim Cornette would say, the outlaw mud show goofs in AEW, I think we could talk about sports entertainment with WWE. What do you think about that, Gio?
Yeah, man, let's get right into it. It was a big weekend with SummerSlam and everything like that, and Takeover as well.
That had the best match of the best match happened at Takeover. We can say it right now. Walter versus Ilya 2. That was the best match that happened fucking over that weekend so far this year. Jesus Christ, it may be match of the decade. Them boys came to party.
And the wild thing is because you see the talent on NXT and everything, and then they're literally revamping it. I don't know what they're doing. Like, I know you shit on AEW and stuff like that, but it's weird how NXT literally, the paint job of it literally looks like Rampage now with the colors and all that shit. I'm just saying, it's like, I don't know what they're doing.
Who was around longer, Gio?
1,000%. I get it.
So then you should be saying Rampage looks like NXT. NXT has had that same look and feel the whole time they've been around since WWE within recent history.
Did you not see the color change? Did you not see the new logo?
Black and gold?
No.
Oh, wait. You're talking about the new one they're talking about. Yeah. Oh, the whole colorful fake fucking logo shit.
That statement.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. I got to eat that, but okay, continue.
But it's just wild because like the talent's so good there, and you gotta let a lot of those indies dudes like Finn Balor coming through and shit like that. Bryan Danielson, whatever he's called now, right? Tommy End, aka Aleister Black, aka Malachi Black. Dudes came from the indies to NXT and they put them through the ringer kind of with the performance center and everything like that. And it's almost they're just they're just expunging that history, it seems like.
Well, we have to take Daniel Bryan out of that conversation, but then I don't think that is necessarily expunging that history, but most of us don't give a fuck about it. Let's be honest. I don't care about Aleister Black selling out the fucking bingo halls. It does fucking no. I don't give a shit about that. Like, don't get me wrong. I think WWE dropped the ball with them when they brought him up to the main roster. I think Triple H knew what they were doing with him down at NXT, but honestly,
NXT has a different vibe. That's the thing.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's all gonna be the sports entertainment realm. NXT still kind of felt like that renegade, almost had that ruthless aggression type of feel to it. Still, like very like PG-13. It wasn't like rated R. How like Raw is like when it was Raw's War and shit like that. But it had that feel. You know what I mean?
I think I'm going to say something that I think that a lot of people may have been saying, may not have been saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think NXT as of late has been wonderful for producing great women superstars.
1,000%.
I think that they've been lacking in the men's superstars realm, and that's why Vince McMahon is starting to get a little agitated. And what I mean by that is don't get me wrong. So you bring up guys like, you know, Kevin Owens. You have guys like Sami Zayn coming up. You got guys like, you know, Finn Balor's gonna be pretty all right. They bring up some of these guys who are traditional indie guys. They don't always necessarily go over well. And then a lot of times the guys who end up being their big main event tickets and their big main event attractions are those athletes that they ended up training up.
Yeah.
So when I'm Vince McMahon, why would I give it? I don't give a shit about the indie goof. Like, can you play within this system?
And that's the thing is, like we talked before, like off camera and shit like that, is like with WWE, they almost it's separate from wrestling. That's why they call it sports entertainment. People have to remember it is pro wrestling, but it's not. And this is what I mean by it. It's sports entertainment. And why they mean that is they're picking the NFL washouts. They're getting these elite athletes to do this shit that no one else can do. They want these guys to look like gods among men, which was back in the day. It was like that, but the difference was it was bodybuilders. So they look like gods amongst men. And then it changed. You had the Kurt Angles. You had the Brock Lesnar's. You had these dudes. We can even go back to Steve Blackman.
I was about to say, I think that's the thing. I think when you wrestling, it isn't. Yes, you have to have a look, but you got to be able to look, you can handle yourself in an altercation. Because if you go back in the 80s and the 70s during the territory days, a lot of those guys weren't souped up, jacked up. They just look like some guys that if they went into a bar or if they were in any kind of situation, they can handle themselves. Like I was speaking about with Walter. Walter does not look like a souped up, but Walter looks like I can picture a guy like Walter fighting a guy like Brock Lesnar and seeing the guy like Walter win. Yeah. I've seen that before. Because it doesn't just because you jacked up, juiced up, fuck off. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the way WWE is going. I'm saying, like, back in the day, before there was MMA, before there was anything, before there was Instagram. Right. Like, for example, when you saw The Undertaker, when I was a kid, when he pulled Shawn Michaels, I couldn't sleep. When he pulled him from the fucking ring, I was like, yo, this motherfucker. You know what I mean? When Undertaker, he had the knife. Remember when Stone Cold was out?
Oh, yeah, Stone Cold, yeah.
He was about to stab him.
He had the troll car.
I was freaking the fuck out. You believed it because there was no Instagram, there wasn't anything like that, and they stood in character. Now, because of social media, that shit has taken a different turn. You have Bray Wyatt being the Fiend 1 second, and then all of a sudden, you know, Ivatonga, he's holding his child. It's like you're pulling the curtains back too much. So when you start treating it like elite athletes are here, and you treat it like sports, even though it's sports entertainment, it becomes believable again because you're treating it as a sport. That's where AEW fucked up, I think. And we'll get into that a little bit later. We're going off tangent. But the fact is, like, AEW in the beginning was about records. They were like win and loss records. And it was all of a sudden like, okay, it's going to be you earn your title shot. And all of a sudden they got this Goomba shit going on with weird, okay, the marriage in the middle of the ring shit with like how they used to do it back in the day. They're kind of biting off WWE and it's failing.
They're WWE light, but like you said earlier, let's get back onto Raw. So Raw started out pretty hot. So Raw starts out with MVP and Bobby Lashley coming out fucking eviscerating Brock Lesnar and his kid, which I am a huge
Goldberg.
Excuse me, Goldberg. Sorry, Goldberg and his kid.
Why people look alike.
Yeah, I guess you're right in that regard. It was absolutely hilarious.
Dude, MVP's mic skills, like I can't get over it. He literally makes it feel like real again, cutting a promo. It's fucking phenomenal.
No, MVP is money. Him and Bobby Lashley are still money. I just don't. The reason I gave is because I could give fuck all about this Goldberg shit.
Yeah,
like, I'm tired of Goldberg. I'm sick of Goldberg. I don't need to see Goldberg. I'm good on Goldberg. There is nothing that Goldberg can do right now that is going to make me go, oh snap, I need to tune in and make sure I'm there for Gold. Like, I'm sick of Gold. I'm sick. We know what Goldberg's got. I'm sick of Goldberg. Now, what I am not sick of, and what I definitely want some more of, is that man Damian Priest. That guy is a fucking star. And if WWE doesn't realize that he needs to be your Latino I know you're looking for a Latino superhero. Well, there you go. His name is Damian Priest. That's who you put your money behind. I'm sick of you putting your money behind all these other Mexican wrestlers with the lucha mask and stuff like that. The only lucha that's ever worked in WWE has been Rey Mysterio. Somebody go out there and prove me wrong. I'm not stating this from like some kind of racial thing. What I'm stating is that you've tried those stars.
What was his name? Sin Cara? Remember Sin Cara?
What happened? Who gives a fuck? Yeah, it was Sin Cara. Then we had two Sin Caras. Get out! Like, you know what I'm saying? They're fucking like no one cared about Sin Cara. You guys somehow destroyed Primo Epico. You realize you had a really hot thing with Carlito, but then you somehow let that flounder. I don't know how, but regardless, Damian Priest needs to be that dude for y'all. If you're trying to make that Latino star, because Vince has always been stating that. Because I can tell you right now, no offense to this dude Dominic, but it's not going to be Dominic. It's not Dominic right now.
Carlito walked so Damian Priest could run. You know what I'm saying? Like the fucking Puerto Rican wrestlers are like slept on big time, and Damian Priest, I feel like back when he was what's up?
That should be there, but that I don't understand it because it's the okay. I understand that they want to eventually get the larger Latino population, right? Yeah. But then, like you said, you got to walk before you crawl. So it would be easier for you to make a Puerto Rican star because one, everyone understands that Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. Yeah. So now it's easier and then who else would more naturally understand American culture, but then still stick to their own culture the way Puerto Ricans do to present that on stage that people can, the way that that people can relate to.
He adds a little Spanish into it, like little shit he says. I'm like, oh, like it feels authentic to me.
Exactly.
Yep. Even with like Zelina Vega and shit like that, when she throws her little Spanish barbs and shit like that and stuff like that, because they finally gave her a mic. You know what I'm saying?
She should be a manager. She should not be wrestling. We can get into Smackdown later, but she should not be wrestling.
But we'll get into like Damian Priest though, like from the entrance, like, and the cool thing I like about Damian Priest is they're not just making it all about his culture. He has his own rock persona. He has this whole thing. Because what happens is when you feed into it too much, when you have a shtick, and
we get tired of the stick.
Yeah, it's like look at like the greatest thing that happened like to Apollo Crews, right? He had that, you know, he's Nigerian, but they fucked it up tremendously now. You see,
we'll get into Apollo later with his because like, he's got a lot going on that I want to talk about with that fucking promo.
And that's what I'm saying is like they didn't feed like. They have the little innuendos here, like he has the Puerto Rican flag on the side. They had the shit with Bad Bunny, and it's not all about his culture. It's him as a performer, as a pro wrestler. He can move in the ring. He's a tall guy, and the thing is, he's like a tall, lean guy, so it works out. And like we could go back a little bit, like with SummerSlam. That was my favorite match of the night was Sheamus and Damian Priest. And how they led up to it, and how they're giving him the rub into Raw, it's fucking awesome. The sky's the limit for that kid.
Oh yeah, I very much definitely bang with Damian Priest.
Are they doing the champ thing because they had him come out with Bobby Lashley on the
Lashley and.
I said Lashley, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always say Lashley. Yeah. It's like the New York thing. Like you said, like it's a dresser draw. It ain't
you know what I mean? Draw. Listen, we have our thing, our sticks. You know what I mean? We're coming from the good old, you know, the best state out there, New York. I don't, you know, especially now Cuomo's out. But now listen, so we won't even talk about that. So but I don't but now so they had the champ versus champ thing. I don't really want that now. It's too soon for you to do that with Damian Priest. You kind of I like what you did here. Tease that. Now get them back apart from each other. I do not need to see Drew McIntyre back into the main title picture.
I do not need to see that. Era. He was perfect for the COVID era because like that dude had such charisma with no crowd. Even before they had the what is it called? The fucking Thunderdome. What do they call it? Thunderdome when it was like the camera.
Yeah.
So even when they did it just in the performance there with no crowd, that dude could sell to fucking dust on the seats. He did his thing. But I think like you said, it's Damian Priest's time, man. Like give those
not in the title picture. I don't need Damian not yet.
Son, I'm not meaning that. What I mean is like, what WWE hasn't done in a long time is they haven't done long-term booking. I think they're going to tease him a little bit. They're going to tease him. What I mean with stars, Vince gets bored with his toys. Let's be fucking real.
I think that a lot of people say that WWE doesn't do long-term booking, but then that's all that I think that's a detriment sometimes WWE is that they sometimes won't go against their long-term booking. You know
I'm
what I
not
mean?
talking
There's
about
a
the main event. I'm not talking about WrestleMania main events that they'll set up for a year because it's going to sell
no,
tickets.
I'm not talking about those, but I believe that WWE builds towards each of those big events. I don't think that they're just flying by the seat of their pants. Now, that is something that honestly and truthfully our good friends at AEW does, but nah, I wouldn't state that is something WWE doesn't. I think I know what you're trying to state in that, some of the lower tier guys don't have it. But then to be honest with you, you can't give them that because you kind of got to see what they have in order to see how they work and configure into things. Like I can't wait to talk about later.
Like for example, like who had the rub for a while? What the fuck's his name? Like they had Matt Riddle, right? In the beginning. He beat AJ Styles, right?
Mm-hmm.
He beat him clean. And then all of a sudden they pull him back. I don't know, maybe it was his allegation thing. I don't know what the case was, but they pull him back, and then he started losing a little, stuff like that, like with Keith Lee. Before he had his issues with COVID and shit like that, they brought him in like he's a fucking monster. You know what I mean? He earned his way. They see this guy has pop, even without a crowd, even without everyone chants his name, all that type of shit, right? Even before the COVID thing. And then they pulled them away. It's like, damn, you have these dudes that have it, but why are you not building them? And like, for example, Damian Priest, I like how they're teasing. They're not putting him right in the title picture, but they're giving him that little bit of rub. And I think they're doing it right in that sense of long-term booking with someone like him. That's what I mean. They're taking the chance, and they're not going to be like, you know what? Go back down. They do
right.
And
I think that, look what they're doing with Riddle now. So I think that they know what they're doing in the sense of, see, when the guys first come out there, they don't know how people are going to react to them. So you don't want to put too much of your eggs in these baskets and they fucking suck. Like, for instance, we could talk about this next match, which I believe is going to be WWE's fault when they drop the ball with this guy. It's going to be Karrion Kross. So next up, after Damian Priest, what happened? We're gonna go chronologically. What happened within Raw people was that Damian Priest came out, him and Lashley were going through their thing. It led to a actually 2-on-2 match because Sheamus and Lashley started beating up Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre comes out. Now they have their match. I think it was a great match. I liked how Bobby Lashley left at the end. I think they're teasing something bigger with Sheamus eventually. Yep. Maybe there's going to be some kind of multi-man kind of thing going on for a little bit to place it until we get fucking Goldberg to come back. Hopefully they can.
There's enough storylines there, and they're good storylines for it to not drag. I'm not going to say drag out. That sounds negative, but it's enough storylines to keep us entertained till they figure out whatever's going on. Like, man, don't get that. Like, I like the McIntyre thing with Sheamus. I like Damian Priest giving him that rub, and it's entertaining for now until Goldberg's next check clears.
There's no reason for this. I don't need to see Drew McIntyre back in the WWE title picture. Honestly,
no.
But what I'm saying is I don't need to see him beefing with. Right now, you could, if you wanted to give me Bobby and Sheamus, I'll listen to you on that one.
Yeah,
because at least that's going to be a nice hard hitting fight. We haven't seen him fight this version of Sheamus, right? Drew McIntyre, I don't need to see him. Also, I don't need to see him in the feud with Damian Priest because that's the second belt. I don't need to do that. He needs to have him go against another main event guy for some other nefarious reasons. I don't know what it is, but that's what your creative talent, your creative services are for. But it was, the match was good. I like the ending because it teased some Lashley fucking, Sheamus shit.
Yeah.
Great. Now, then after that, you saw Eva Marie Doudrop and fucking they had their beef.
Yeah.
That shit was fucking, as Jim Cornette would say, right through the speed search on that. I just can't watch some of this shit. Then we get to Karrion Kross and Ricochet.
Before we get to that, like, I like Doudrop because I think she's a good entertainer. I think she could move in the ring for being as big as she is. I don't like they should, like we talked about off cameras. Like, I don't like how they changed her name. She could feel like there's this misconception because you're a bigger girl, you can't be a star. You know what I mean? Like, remember fucking what's her name? Kong from fucking TNA. What's her name?
Awesome Kong.
Awesome Kong. Dude,
yeah,
he fucking killed it. She didn't have her titties out and all this fucking crazy shit. You know what I mean? She could move and look like Alexa Bliss too. Like, she wears a t-shirt. Now she's being a little more, like showing a little more body and shit like that. But before, she would wear a t-shirt and she was a good performer. I don't like how they're gonna what they're gonna do with Doudrop and then what's her
Eva
name?
Marie.
With Eva Marie, right? Is they're gonna have a match, and Eva Marie, like, she sells tickets. She's a beautiful woman, but I don't think she's a great in-ring performer.
I don't think Eva Marie sells tickets.
Yeah.
She doesn't sell tickets.
And I'm not trying to hate on her. Like, she got where she was. She's a beautiful woman. She does her thing, right? I don't want people to listen to this shit and be like, oh, these motherfuckers is hating on women wrestling. No, we're keeping the same standard for men that we are for women. You know what I'm saying? So someone like Eva Marie is gonna be Doudrop's gonna carry her in the ring, and it doesn't seem realistic because when Eva Marie like tries to drop someone, you don't hear it hard, like boom. It's not gonna sell.
Watching Eva Marie and fucking go against Alexa Bliss was watching paint dry on the wall. What I mean by that is this has nothing to do with Alexa Bliss. I think she's a phenomenal in-ring performer.
Takes two to tango.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, that tango partner she has, Eva Marie, I just don't need to see a maximum model in there who can't throw hands. Like if she could throw hands, then it'd be all right. Now going back to your point of Doudrop, they fucked up with when they came and renamed her. I don't understand. Listen, there is no monster female heel. You had it as Nia, but then she's not really a monster. But hey, listen, people, do you remember you somehow had the Big Show, Kane, Undertaker. You had a few
Nash
other interchangeable Nash for a little bit there, but you had a few different interchangeable big people who were able to have similar different styles.
Yeah.
In the women's division right now, you only have Nia, and you could have had Doudrop. I don't know why Doudrop wasn't coming in here, staying her name. I think it was Adrian Neville or something like that. I forget what it was. I know something Neville. Good. But I don't know why you just didn't have her come in the same way she was doing the NXT UK and just going out here ragging these bitches. She should be out here ragging these hoes. Like the fact that like really what really should have been happening is that if you want to make Eva Marie put her over, Doudrop should have been bullying and putting her in her place because in the real world, Eva Marie could do nothing against someone like Doudrop. And that is the fact that sells tickets is because you get us behind Eva Marie like, oh my God, look at this. Doudrop is out here violating this shorty. But no, now I get what you're trying to do. Like, oh,
the bullying
pretty girls. Yeah, but in real life, that big girl fucks that girl up. That's what happens in real life. At least where I come from.
Dog walks that hoe. Literally.
Exactly.
And the crazy part is I want to see fucking Doudrop drop the fucking. They fucked it up. Like I think they're going like the Shorty Mac route. You know what I mean? How they gave what's his name? The Shorty Mac name. He's with
Shorty G. You mean Chad Gable?
Chad Gable, right? They literally it looks like a young Kurt Angle. You know what I'm saying? Olympian and all that shit. Same thing like what they're doing with Doudrop. Yo, let her be that villain. Or let her be that let her be like the anti-villain, like, and go against like Nia Jax. Two big women. Like, I think Doudrop could move better than Nia Jax because Nia Jax, she's almost like too big where she doesn't move. It only worked. It's almost like how the Big Show was, right? Big Show was only athletic to a certain point, and then he just started just not selling things because he can't move, and he was just using his strength. But have those two go against each other would have been fucking phenomenal. Sell it like that. Have the two monsters beating up all these women, and then boom, both of them meet in the middle for a chance to fight for the title. You know what I mean?
I agree. Or eventually let it lead up to that point for them. I definitely would like to see them go against it with Doudrop being a fucking monster. Going against the monster known as Nia. But now we're going on to fucking Karrion Kross and Ricochet, which also almost got the speed search as well. Because to be honest with you, Karrion Kross is a dude. Karrion Kross is a man. There's no reason that y'all decided to make him the early version of fucking the white version of Farouk with this fucking gladiator gimmick coming on. No one needs that. No one needs that. No one wants that. We want to see Karrion Kross do and be what Karrion Kross does and is. Excuse me.
Oh, you mean Mad Max?
In NXT.
Oh, you mean Mad Max?
I'll take that though. He had the whole crazy thing. I will.
No. I'm talking about his getup, son, looking like a fucking Legion of Doom light. Like this is
terrible. It's horrendous. And to be honest with you, you need to do something with fucking Ricochet because I'm gonna be honest with you. While he may be easy on the eye, everything else about him is like you've given me no reason to care about this guy. It's failed. He just looks like they have made him into a glorified jobber. And I don't know why they did that. Like this should be
he's one step ahead of the Hurricane. Remember Hurricane?
Yeah. No. You're right. They gotta. I don't know. Put him in a tag team. Give him somebody who could. Because you know what it is. I think because Ricochet really can't. They haven't allowed enough of his own personality to come across so he can really talk.
I don't know if he can speak or not, because like when he speaks, it's
fucking corny.
Yes, it's corny, bro. Like it's like no one talks like that. No one says like, like he sounds like Hulk Hogan back in the day, like take your like, but real kiddish. You know what I mean? It's not believable to me. With I'm gonna beat Brock Lesnar. I'm gonna go to. Are you? Do you like when he says it? I don't believe it. Well, and that's the thing is with his whole character is like, if you don't believe it, how are they going to put you over? It doesn't seem like it. He puts butts in the seats because he's entertaining. He could do shit. He has a style almost that's perfect for AEW.
Who's? This is the second time you done said someone puts butts in seats, but who's going to go see? How many people realistically to make it a needle moving thing is going out there saying
I'm going by there butts in the seats? Like go to a house show. Man, I'm talking about like a house show. If they're in Tampa right now, they have the Amalie Arena, and they're like, okay, they got
Ricochet. You're going for Ricochet. You're going for Ricochet.
Bro, I'm saying at least it'll be entertaining. Like, I'll sit and watch. I'm not going to just go and get...
What's the reason you're going... No. What would be the reason you buy that ticket? Is the reason you're buying the ticket to see Ricochet, or is it to see WWE? Don't skip out now. Answer the question. Are you going solely for Ricochet?
Is to see Damian Priest and Bobby Lashley.
Exactly. There's no Ricochet in there at all. You don't like.
I'm being nice.
But there's no disrespect.
Call me out. Fuck you.
Listen, but no, I'm just because we have to be real for the people. And this is what I'm not saying that Ricochet should be this. He shouldn't be. I don't know how they dropped the ball with him, but they need to sit back and go, okay, this guy is legit money.
He's a male Nikki ASH right now. Okay, that's what he is.
That's aggressive.
It's aggressive, but I mean by the no. She could perform. She's a great performer. I think she can move in the ring, and Ricochet can move in the ring. Personality, where it's so cheesy, where it's like I support you because it's like the Matt Cardona. What's his name? Whoa, right?
Like, yeah. Matt Cardona for GCW, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. You could get behind me like, yo, I see the potential in you.
Right.
But they're putting it's the WWE. Remember, like WWE doesn't let motherfuckers like go off the mic. They only let it for two people right now. It was John Cena and Roman Reigns. Other than that, you have to stay to the script. It's not Ricochet's fault. They're not letting him.
Paul Heyman as well. Definitely Paul Heyman's not scripted.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Yeah.
It's Ricochet's fault, in my opinion, for not taking chicken shit and turning it into chicken salad. It's not always what you say, it's how you say it.
Some of this shit is just not good. And that goes for fucking WWE, that goes for AEW. Some of this shit just doesn't make sense. And we're going to continue on going.
Back to Karrion Kross. Yeah, we went on this.
So well, no. We've got to say what I had to say about Karrion Kross. It was a good match between him. I can expect him and Ricochet to have a good match, but unfortunately, I didn't give a shit because I was so offended by the outfit. Well, because what else do you do with Ricochet? We just spoke about why he's a glorified jobber. So what else do you do with somebody like Ricochet? You beat them. You put them in Money in the Bank matches that have one or two good spots, but ultimately to get their ass kicked for the rest of the match. You beat them, but they offended me. They offended me, Gio. They offended me with this damn outfit you had Karrion Kross come out here to. They've offended me because weeks before you got him winning, got him losing, got doing all this bullshit, and he was supposed to be your NXT champion at the time. So I go from 1 minute watching this guy get treated like a joke on Monday Night Raw, into the next moment I go see on NXT this guy going one-on-one with goddamn Samoa Joe in this serious takeoff. It's confusing.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is like
offended me.
WWE. They'll show someone be a fucking god 1 minute, and then the next they fucking crumble them. It's like once you get to the big show, the main show. I'm not gonna say the big show. No, the big show. They fucking show you like, nah, you ain't nothing here. We gotta break you in. Look what they did. Look what they did with Keith Lee. They had that motherfucker in the Royal Rumble. Him and Brock Lesnar. Dude, take my fucking money. And you can see Brock Lesnar go like, oh, that's a big boy. You see him work. Yep. They do it
Now-
1 second and then they take him away. Look at Karrion Kross. Built up. Dude, he was undefeated, right? He had some record, right? And then all of a sudden he goes to the main roster. He fucking loses. And then now they have him winning again, but they have him look like a fucking fool with I don't know what this fucking sex slave outfit he has on, knockoff Road Warrior type of shit. It's falling off him in the fucking match. It does like, dude, he's this world beater. He has a good physique. He's a built dude. Now because you have this shit on, it looks like he got love handle. He doesn't look like the same fucking guy.
He's a grown man that they're making play with children. That was just offensive. But on to the next thing. So then they had the whole conversation between Bobby and fucking Sheamus, whatever. We spoke about that earlier. Now let's get into something that I thought is money. And someone who is money, especially within this universe. If Vince McMahon is going to be fucking allegedly offering $1.3 million or whatever, allegedly he offered a contract to Adam Cole worth 1.2, whatever they said it was, $1 million a year or some bullshit. I forget what it is, but if he had the nerve to do that for Adam Cole, and I'll get into later why I don't find much of him worth of anything. You need to fucking write the checkbook for a fucking for Jake Paul to come into WWE. Logan Paul. Yeah. Well, either one, honestly, both of them.
They fight this
fucking
Sunday, you know what I mean?
Let me tell you something. Logan Paul, the amount of heat that Logan Paul had during this segment with Morrison, you couldn't even hear them talk. It was amazing. Oh my God. If I was in the back, I'm like, we could make, because people would love to see him get the shit kicked out of him. And in a WWE ring, they could actually see him get his ass kicked within that match. Eventually, obviously, he's going to win. He's not going to come in there to lose. Yeah. But it would be very fucking interesting to see what they would do. And let me tell you something. I don't need it to be the Miz because the Miz is a bad guy. You got to give him a good guy to fucking run through.
He's the one dude still to this day, the Miz. People could talk shit all he wants, he got that corny persona, you know what I mean? But
the Miz is money. That's why he's still there.
That 1,000%. He is money. And then he does everything with the channel, everything. But he's the one dude that still, even on that show, he stays in character still. Whatever interview he's on, even like when he was like on The Fighter and the Kid with like Brendan Schaub and all them, right? Excuse me. He stood in character when he was talking about Bad Bunny and shit like that. Like, no, he doesn't say it's not word. When a fist goes in his face, like we all know it's I'm not gonna say not. We all know it's sports entertainment. We know it's not real, right? But he still stood in character.
Of course,
a lot of
it's not a gimmick to him.
Yeah, this is his life. He lives it, and you gotta respect a guy like that. However, like I'm glad this Morrison thing, like they signed Morrison. I forget they paid him a good amount of money, and he's doing like this. Like I'm not a fan of the Miz and Morrison shit anymore, man. I want to see Morrison be a fucking star, but I don't know if he has it in him because he left and they brought him back and paid him stupid fucking money.
I think with Morrison, and this is why I'm thinking that there is a reason. There's a reason why you used to have managers back in the day. Yeah, because there were certain guys who were missing a few. Like Morrison has everything except he doesn't really talk that well. But if you got him a manager to kind of do the talking for him, let him kind of talk when he needs to, we could actually be making some money because Morrison is a money top guy, I think. But you gotta give him a manager. But that whole sequence led to Xavier Woods coming out and having a one-on-one match, which was perfect because then it led up to fucking the Miz laying out Morrison. Listen, Johnny, I love you, but the Miz got to put you in the dirt for this one. He has to. And I think that scuffle between them.
It looked real. It looked good.
I was about to say it looked good. It looked real good. And it kind of looked like what you would expect in a fight.
And
you know what I mean?
It looked like the Miz. It was like even though it made Miz really look like a heel because it was like the way he was thumping on him. It was like, yo, I'm tired. Like even though Miz was in the wrong for everything like that, faking injuries and shit like that, it looked like he was beating Morrison's ass as if Morrison was the one faking. He's like, yo, I'm tired of your shit. I feel like the Miz is the perfect heel. And yo, the way he was beating his ass and the way Morrison sold it, how he was covering up, trying to get back up, it looked authentic.
Never really went to go fight him, went to cover up.
He was just trying because he didn't want
Morrison's a money baby face.
It was like he didn't want to hit him. He's like, yo, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like it was almost like he was trying to salvage a friendship while still it was fucking perfect.
It was money. It was great. Yep. Now, let's go to the next thing. That, to be honest with you,
was it Flair?
I don't the same way like during you have the height of the Black Lives Matter thing going on, you decide to put the Hurt Business against the New Day is the same way right now. Like, I don't need to see brown on brown violence. There are so many other people that you could have these two groups of people fight. I don't need to see Jinder versus Mansoor. Not now, not yet. If you're going to give it to me, build up to it. But I don't need this interaction. There are other people you can have these guys fight. Like, I don't want this to sound disrespectful, but I don't know how to. Don't sully them by just making them go against. Like, right now we got Mustafa and Mansoor together. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Even though personally, I don't even believe that they needed to be together because fucking Ali was about to be on some real hot shit with his heel shit. But really, like, this is the sometime antiquated booking shit that I be having issues with WWE at, in the sense of the only reason you put Mansoor and Mustafa together is because they're brown. The only reason that you put Jinder, Veer, and Shanky together is because they're brown. I get it. You want to appeal to that audience, but there's different ways you can do it. You can have them just being who they are, and they just happen to be that. Or maybe if they want to have a character that is pro their people, whatever the fuck. But I'm done off of it because it feels antiquated to me.
Well, here's why.
You see what I'm saying?
It's not short-term booking, but it's not. It's medium long-term booking. Because here's why. How long's the deal? It's pretty extensive. The Saudi Arabia deal with WWE, right?
Yeah.
It's money. So the reason why they have them together is because of how many crown jewels do they do? They do 2 crown jewels, or they do 2 events a year, or 3. I forget what.
Something like that. Yeah, it was something like that.
Well, they're putting them together because of that. So I think that's why I say it's medium long-term booking, because they're gonna have Mansoor against Mustafa Ali.
Well, him and Mustafa are like together, kind of sort of
together,
thing.
But you see that he does, like, Mustafa. He's still kind of like he's like in the middle of the road with the heel shit.
They were doing Arcade Bro before Arcade Bro came out.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, Mustafa, he was more serious. Yeah, I get it, 1,000%.
You see what I'm saying?
But what I'm saying is that medium, long-term kind of booking is they're going to have them go against each other at the Crown Jewel or whatever the case is. They're going to build it up for each event, or they might have them go against each other at Mania. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, they want to see how it is with the fans right now. That's how I look at it. It's like, okay, is this really doing anything? But then you have someone like Jinder Mahal, like you said, it's brown on brown crime. Like, why are we doing this? It doesn't feel authentic to me. It kind of feels like it's like when Mustafa Ali was a heel and he was just yelling and do all that shit with that weird, like, BDM fucking group he had. Like, I didn't like that at all. You know what I mean? Like,
no, him and that. So they fucked him with that group, but
what was their name? The Resurgence or whatever the fuck it was.
I don't know. The Forgettables, because we can't remember their name. So now listen. Yeah. So the only one you cared about was Mustafa in that whole equation. Now here's my thing. You could have let you have the Crown Jewel coming up, right? Yeah. So would it be better for this? Okay, if you want to have one of these sector of people in the group together, okay, boom, you got one group. Then you could have had 2 single stars. You could have had fucking Mustafa doing whatever the hell he's doing as a bad guy. Mansoor, because he does have that likable babyface energy, could have still been doing that. Maybe eventually you could build to them going one-on-one at the Crown Jewel kind of stick, but ultimately you can get more representation because you don't have to have them together. They can be working with everyone else for what other litany of reasons you can have them beefing for, or you can have them teamed up with other people for whatever litany of reasons. I'm not stating that you don't need to see them together. What I'm stating is that you don't have to be so antiquated about it. Like, there was no real reason. The whole Mansoor and Ali thing, like, I get what they're trying to do, the sensei and the teacher thing, but Ali hasn't been around long enough to be the goddamn teacher.
Exactly, bro. Why do you have him mentoring him if his fucking career in the WWE hasn't even taken off yet? It don't make sense, and that's what
he hasn't had a major title.
Oh, you're brown, cool. That's what they're doing, and I get it. It's medium long-term booking.
This is Brown Doom. This is the Brown Doom. Anyone who's an old school WCW fan, I'm pulling out. This is the same thing that they did in WCW with Ron Simmons and the other brother. I forget his name. Is put them two together, put a mask on them, had this white girl come out with him. It's like, it'll be money, it'll be heat. They're the small Brown Doom. WWE ought to be ashamed of themselves with this one.
All right, let's move on from that because we got a lot to fucking. In case in point, Jinder Mahal versus Mansoor, like it shouldn't happen. But we digress.
Yeah. So now.
Oh yeah, it was a DQ. So
So now you got. Then they had the Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest got together, whatever. They're going out drinking. Yay. Now we get to money. Now this is where the big girls play. So you have fucking Charlotte Flair, which oozes money and oozes over, and that is a fucking star right there.
Dude, she could talk on that mic, and the way she moves in fucking street clothes, whipping ass, she had that whole fucking metallic Catwoman shit the last week, just fucking suplex. Dude,
let me tell you something. Not for nothing. I'm not like, white women aren't my first cup of choice when it comes to women. That's not. I'm just being real. We all have our flavors, right? Yeah. But Charlotte Flair makes that list. I don't know what. But Charlotte Flair, I don't know what. I know some people beefing at her because she decided to get some stuff done. What the fuck ever. Her and those damn leotards, huh. And then when she just takes the shoes off, she starts suplexing hoes. Yeah. Charlotte Flair is
not warmed up. I was like, bro, that's a star.
Charlotte Flair is fucking money. Rhea Ripley is money, and I'm gonna say this: Nikki Ash is money too. But I think they gotta tweak what they're doing with her. You have to. I think that you could do this, but it may be a little early. But you're gonna have to make her character go through a little bit of an evolution in the sense of she could still be a superhero, but she should be like a real superhero in the sense of she should be in the back. She should be dressed as one thing, or when they have those segments, and then when it's time to fight, the same way the Justice League, they would fucking now suit up to go to war. And then her outfit, I think, needs to be a little more edgy. Doesn't need to be so cartoonish. Like, for instance, right now it gives me like, Nickelodeon vibes, where I think you need to give me Cartoon Network vibes.
But
you see what I mean?
Selling to the kids, though. That's why I get why WWE is in this weird.
You can keep it there, bro. Yeah. I'm just saying, keep it. You can. I'm with you here because it is money. Yeah. But instead of giving me, because actually it's not even Nickelodeon. You're giving me like Nick Jr. vibes when you should just be giving me like.
Yeah.
Like give me
Teen Nick.
There we go. Or give me Cartoon Network vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like give me something that kids can like, but that's something else that adults could enjoy at the same time. Yep. Be like, oh, that's catchy, or that's cool. You know what I mean?
And it's almost like, remember when Kurt Angle, when he switched, like he still wore the singlet and shit like that. It was real American, but then he switched to the black singlet with the American flags and shit. It was like he was still true to himself, but it had that like, ooh,
it's a little subtle, yeah.
Yeah, I think when like it's the gold and blue, I think it should be gold, a hint. It should be gold. Black, blue, and a hint of gold, like a stripe or some shit. It would make her. I would take her more serious with that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if it's. I don't necessarily even think it's the color. I think it's the actual fit. That's what I'm like. I think they have to change the outfit a little bit. Like,
bro, I
the
think
outfit,
it's a little too reveal. Yo, she got like the 80s thong and shit. Her cheeks just out and shit like that with it. I was like,
well, no, the outfit, no, because the outfit I'm fine. Like I said, the outfit I'm actually not fine with. They have to change the. It just needs to be a little edge. Like I said, like it just So we were sitting here watching it. We were watching SummerSlam, right? It was had a few people over, and when we saw it. My one buddy goes, she looks out of place in the ring.
Yes.
And she does.
But do you think that's purposely? She's supposed to be almost a superhero, right? So she's almost supposed to look out of place. Spider-Man in the group of people in New York City looks out of place because he's a superhero. He's supposed to stand out. So maybe that's why WWE's doing it. You don't want her to blend in.
Yeah, but he stands out looking cool though. Like all these superheroes, you know what I mean? Right, she doesn't. She just didn't. I feel I know what she's trying to do, but then people
Yeah.
need to remember too. There's a reason why the Undertaker didn't stay the Phenom during the Attitude Era. He made that switch to the American Badass because he's like, I'm gonna get eaten up out here. I can't be. I'm gonna come out here cartoonish and fucking The Rock is gonna say some shit about the dead man. I can't come back from it because I'm staying true to the character. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying she's not money. She's money, but you just gotta make her go through a little bit of a metamorphism, not too much, but whereas it's like, oh. This is like make her like a cool superhero, like you know what I'm saying. Like
maybe this is the transition because going to everything with like the match with Nia, Rhea Ripley, and like Shayna is maybe this is because she's been like buddying up with Rhea Ripley, right? And Rhea Ripley got that like maybe that rub will come off because first of all, let's talk about like, Rhea Ripley is a really good performer. Like I feel like her and like I like Charlotte. Like Charlotte's up here. Rhea can really fucking move. I think like her and Charlotte have such great chemistry. And then Shayna Baszler, she had like Shayna Baszler, she has that like that because she was an MMA fighter. She has that match. She's a worker, and it makes it like this is the first time I'm really excited about the women's division. And like you said, the one sore one black eye with it is the Nikki ASH thing. It just doesn't. It could be so great. If, like you said, you tweaked it, because now I'm down. Now I'm thinking of like, damn, all of them are really, really good, and then like, damn, all right, Nikki, you gotta just be there and be Nick Jr. You're right.
WWE's women's division is a lot more serious than their men's division, and that's why I like them more because they don't. It's like
they're not divas anymore. They are.
They're about to, but it's like the men are fucking divas now because the shit I'm seeing is like, listen, oh my god,
and there's nothing wrong with being a diva. That's not a problem. However, I like the word diva in the wrestling business. I feel like it has such a negative connotation now that the WWE decide like, yo, we're gonna take it away. And once they took it away, they had to kind of strip all that away. Like the ones that did it before them, like the Sables, the Miss Jackies, like all these, like the.
Please don't put Sable on that list. Sable could not wrestle.
That's why I said diva. She was a diva, though. That's why.
Oh yeah. Hold on now, Gio. Did you put Sable and Miss Jackie together? Miss Jackie could wrestle now. Don't say Jacqueline couldn't wrestle now. Hold on, baby.
Listen. But that's the problem. What I'm saying is like with divas. They were all under the same umbrella between the act. No, you're not even listening to me. See, look.
I'm listening. I'm back.
You're being real liberal right now, okay?
Oh,
so I'm gonna say.
Oh, he said Jacqueline, baby.
First of all,
her titties were huge, though. Oh my god! Do you remember how big her titties were? They were so amazing when you were younger.
First time I saw Miss Jacqueline, remember when Sable and her had that strip off? I was like. Oh, that's brown sugar.
Yes. Jacqueline should have been Foxy Brown.
Oh, bro. When Mark Merrill said, "Yo, I don't need Sable," he said, "Oh, we got some brown sugar," and he saw Miss Jackie, bro.
She is Jackie, Miss Jackie. Let me tell you something. She was. Because she could really go. So, like, people who don't know, look up Miss Jackie was around during the fucking territory days, and there was a fan who jumped the barricade down there in the Texas show back in the 80s. She was working. She put his ass down for the count. Like she was really about that shit. But then on top of that, she looked like $1,000,000 fucking bucks. Like Jesus ain't. Oh, I'll never forget. Listen, I was young.
The long braids and everything, bro. She had the look.
I'm not even a titty man like that. I even knew that when I was younger. I wasn't like the biggest of a titty man. Like I love a good ass, you know what I'm saying? But I do love some good titties though. And I'll never forget like the first time when I was like, going through puberty, I remember just being like, I would love to titty fuck Jacqueline. Could you imagine? No, I'm talking about Jacqueline in prime Attitude Era days. Jesus Christ. Like I'm just saying, listen here, people. This is a pro wrestling podcast, but it's not for children. We talking. This is fucking. I'm just saying it added to ever growing up. Everyone had their moments. I'm just telling you what I thought. When I saw Jack, I was like, oh my god. But yes, I'm sorry. Back onto today's let
me make my point because you judged me prematurely. That was they had to get rid of the title diva because you put everyone in there from Sable, and then they would have Chyna, they would have Jacqueline, they had everything like so. You have people that could move like Chyna, right? You have people who could move like Jacqueline, but then you just had the managers, right? They were all considered divas, and then then you had the Trish Stratuses, the Litas, the people who can move. and then you put them all in this same bucket. And then when the manager has to actually wrestle, like Sable, remember, she was the women's champion and everything like that because she had that look, she had that shtick. It's not the same as you have someone like a Sasha Banks, a Rhea Ripley, a Shayna Baszler, all these people that can actually move. They had to get rid of it to separate the manager, the female manager, male manager, from the actual male performers and the female performers.
I concur. But like I said, I concur.
You remember the Divas Championship? That shit was ugly. It was so gaudy. They made it real feminine. No, treat them like the athletes they are.
The only current diva right now, the WWE, that should be a diva because that's her gimmick, is Carmella, and Carmella can still go. I don't like what they're doing with Carmella.
She can move. But let's get that to the side. Let's get back to the fucking Raw.
Yeah. Well, now we're ending it up. We're ending it up. We spoke about that. Then you had Rhea versus Rhea and Nikki versus Nia and Shayna. They won. I don't know if you're gonna make them a tag team. The one thing that WWE is doing that I'm not liking is they're repeating too many of their storylines top to bottom. So I'm seeing too many similarities within stuff on the same show. You're not even, if you did it on two different shows, I'm more inclined. Okay, I'm still not too happy with it. But even on the same show, you're giving me the same things, and you're doing. It's just too much. I don't need to see Nikki and fucking Rhea Ripley together because you're giving me too much of the Mansoor Ali, which is then became RK Bro, which is now kind of them. And then to be honest with you, we can continue. It's like an original, like most modern time spinoff of Team Hell No right now, which we can then even go further and say is the spinoff of the Rock and Sock, whatever the case. We know each generation has one, but you don't need to give me it. It's too much too much.
And that's the thing is because they do this because they wait for the great matches for the pay-per-views, as we know this. So they'll do like Sheamus got beef with so and so. All right, so he's gonna like Damian Priest got beef with Sheamus. Oh, we're not gonna fight you, but we're gonna do a tag team because we can't sell the pay-per-view if they already win against each other. You know what I'm saying? Or they do have a scheduled match and then like someone changes, like, no, he's injured, and they'll put someone else in. They do this shit constantly to extend it so they still get their buys at the end of the day.
I'm fine if they do that, but I mean, don't make them a tag team. Like, I don't need them as a tag. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't make them. I don't give a fuck.
Nikki and Ripley, I think it'll work if they do what if they do what we're thinking. They get that like that rub off of her to like be a badass because she's a badass in 2 Kitty though. You know.
Here's the issue with it though. For me at least, you have too much of the same thing already on the card. Like, give me, you know what I mean? Like, you've already on Raw alone. I already have Mansoor and Ali doing it, and then we got RK Bro doing it.
Yeah,
they're doing it in like a little different ways, but at the base of it, it's still the same thing. Like, for instance, if people go back and look at WrestleMania, right? This past WrestleMania, look at the 2 tag team matches. I'm talking about look at the Raw tag team title tag team title championship, and look at the fucking when Bad Bunny and Damian Priest and then we're tag teaming against Morrison and Miz. It's the same style match. You didn't even like stop repeating yourselves. I guess for me, it's like you need to repeat yourself so many times because what makes things special if everyone has their own thing, you know what I mean? But stop making everyone. Like, I don't need to see that throughout the whole damn shit. Like, no, like let them do something completely different. Now, listen here. We are 53 minutes in, and we have just done Raw. So we're gonna do SmackDown, and then something tells me after that we may have to end it there, and then we're gonna create a new one just specifically.
I think we should
for
do
AEW,
like WWE, and AEW. We could do it.
I think so. Yeah, I think that would be the best.
All right, 2 minutes though. Let's Riddle versus AJ Styles. Riddle can move. AJ Styles, he makes anyone look great. I was a personal fan. Like AJ Styles, the way he sells shit and the way that ring psychology, bro. It's a fucking good match, and I feel like there's gonna be long-term booking with Riddle, AJ Styles, Randy. I think it's with Umas. It's good. Umas too, like even his subtleties, like they even said, like, oh, he looks worried. Like he does like what Paul Heyman does. Paul Heyman doesn't move much, but you can see it in his face. And for a big guy to have that ring psychology, fucking sky's the limit.
There's only only one critique kind of thing about Omos that gets me.
His sweatpants?
No.
I don't like that.
I feel like everything about Omos I've bought into. The only thing that kind of makes me go, ugh, is that I feel like he thinks everything deep down inside is hilarious. And what I mean by that is when you're watching him in the ring and sometimes they hit him, he's just like, I feel like he wants to burst out laughing. Like, in real life, bro, I would fuck you up. Like, I think he
loves his job. He's like, I think it's two things. It's like, yo, like, he's like, oh, I'm
think
here.
He should be a baby face. Like, I get it, the way he looks. No, hear me out.
You have to sell him like this.
No, he should. What I mean, a baby face. Excuse me, not a cheery, happy baby face, but he's an anti-hero baby face. He's just because he wants to laugh or because he really wants to laugh. There's a lot of even look at when him and AJ do the. He wants to laugh. He wants to laugh and smile afterwards. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with it.
This is the 2021 X-Pac and Kane tag team. Remember when they were a tag team? Kane, like he was still like that anti-hero, right? And and then X-Pac from like DX, they were still like anti-heroes, right? They were cool, like they were in business, they were mercenaries for themselves, right? But if people were doing messed up things, they would help out. They always teamed with the baby faces. So I see Omos. If that's what you're like saying, like stuff like that, Omos kind of in business for himself, but he still helps out the baby face. I'm cool with. It's almost like Randy Orton now with Riddle, where it's like he's feeding into. He still fucking RKO'd him the week before, right? He's like, I'm still in business for me. He gave in a little, but you can see he's like, I'm not doing this stuff. AJ Styles is. I like X-Pac, but I'm not going to compare them because the abilities were too different, and AJ could talk and everything like that.
X-Pac was never a main guy like AJ's a main guy. Yeah. No offense, like.
But what I'm saying is, I like X-Pac, dude. Everyone Bronco busted or they did the
100%.
You know what I mean?
He was the over little guy, but guess what? AJ Styles is a little guy who got over. Big difference.
But AJ's not even little, dude. He just looked little because Omos.
What is he? 5'11"?
I think he's like 5'11". I think he's 5'11". He's like my height.
They consider that like okay. They do consider that a little bit on the shorter side. Like, don't get me wrong, you being at 5'11", it kind of like they can lie and say you're 6'6'1" and kind of get away with it. But ultimately, unless if you're shorter, it's exacerbated in WWE. Unless you're somebody wide, like Otis isn't that much. Me and Otis may be the same height. Otis is like 5'9", 5'10".
Bro, but he wide.
And he happens to be a legitimate heavyweight amateur wrestler from college. Like Otis is a man that is a man. And speaking of Otis, let's get on to Smackdown.
Let me pull up my notes. Go ahead.
Let me be honest with you, Gio.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I'm about to do this because I love Bianca Belair so much. But there is one little thing that you did that I was like, it was like a punch in the stomach in the sense of like fuck, like you shouldn't. I wouldn't expect you to react after losing a fight like this. So you have Becky Lynch come out, which first of all, they got her being a heel now, and I think the way that the people respond, I know that they said that allegedly, according to the internet writers, and take it for whatever that means. But allegedly, Becky Lynch wanted to come back as a heel. Vince McMahon, y'all are stupid as hell for saying yes to her. She should not have came back as a heel. Becky Lynch should be a fucking babyface. This heel shit is fucking stupid to me.
I like how she's going about it, though. It's real subtle.
But she's too damn big. Like, no. Let her come back. Let's make some money with you for about a year. When people get tired of the babyface Becky, that's when we're going to give them the switch. But right now, let's capitalize on this bread, especially if you're going to be coming out in shirts saying the man is here in whatever town that is to get the cheap pop. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's capitalize on this paper. But whatever. So you got out there talking. This is the one thing that almost killed the segment for me, because when I'm watching this wrestling, yes, I understand that it's predetermined. I understand it's entertainment, but fucking make it real. Like, base it in realism. So when Bianca Belair comes out to beef with Becky to have a rebuttal for what she's saying, she should have just walked out to the ring mad as hell. She did not need to do her. There's no time for dancing. No time for none of that. I'm out here
cheering for getting fucking mollywopped like that on SummerSlam in 30 seconds. It didn't work out.
As in the words of Jim Cornette, it's just like in that moment, I remember looking at Justin like, I can't watch this shit. And then Justin's like, what are you talking about? And then I explained what was happening. I showed him, and he just goes, I don't know why she would do that either.
Son,
and I was like, but I gotta watch it because I gotta review this shit.
In the Attitude Era, their music would have come out. They would just walk out, right? And you would hear you just hear the crowd going like, wait, and they would cut, and you see them just walking down. They need to do that.
Business.
It's like, yo, I'm not. If it's a match, okay, have your entrance, right? Or if you're interfering and it's the last, have your music go to throw some fear. But if you really got beef, like in the beginning of the show, you could have the same. Worst case scenario, have your music play, but then just walk out serious. Don't twirl your hair like, dude, you just lost in an embarrassing way because guess what? WWE is either they don't believe in you like you think they did, or they're trying to long-term book and then get Becky Lynch, get the Becky Lynch fucking merchandise up and get eyes in it.
I wonder if they told her to do it. And the reason I'm asking that is because one, I want to give her out because when I'm watching Bianca Belair go out there, she does business the way it should be done in the sense of her shit looks tight, it looks real, it looks good. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if they told her to do that because when you see she comes out there, she does have like a mad face. Like she's like I'm out here like whatever. So I don't know if they told her to do it, if not, but obviously she's not gonna fucking listen to me. But I'm just stating that if somebody would have the thought come in their head just to tell her like next time you're going out there for business. That fuck, like in that moment, it is you and her, and I got a problem with you. I'm mad as hell. You cheated me. I gave you the respect to say we can have a fight one-on-one, and you shook and you took your hand out to shake it. I went to shake your hand, and then you fucking gave me a cheap shot. You piece of shit. We got problems. I want my belt back because bitch, you couldn't beat me one-on-one.
And what's fucked up? How you have Becky Lynch, the man, right? You're the man of this division. You shake hands like a fucking man. You can't have this shtick of being the man and then you doing fucking asshole things. It don't work. You can't sell it. You know what I'm saying? She's a heel.
Well, you know what? They could still make the man a heel. I'm not saying that I'm not saying. But they gotta
look at when Triple H was the cerebral assassin, the game, right? He had all this shit. He made you feel like, yo, when you're in there, he could play those mind games, those little things, because he was he's a veteran, right? When he was at the top of the world, when he had the ego belt, the cooler ego belt, you know what I mean? When he played those games, when he had that entrance, spinning the war, he was getting in your mind, the psychological warfare. When you're the man and you do things like that, you have to, even if you're a heel, you still need to live up to those expectations of like you're still gonna live by the sword, die by the sword. So when you're booking Becky and you have her acting real childish or real conniving and not shaking hands and not still being that heel, even Roman Reigns in all his shit, right? Like he's perfect right now. He's still like a man will stand there and look, he'll shake your hand, he'll do that. But then he'll do some little slick shit with the Usos and he'll back out. Because he is the man. He is the tribal chief. So he could do that. But when shit hit the fan, he'll be there. Becky, they're trying to still sell tickets as she's like, I'm the man, I'm all that stuff. But it's not working as a heel.
Well, we'll see because we just gave it. So I won't say it's not working yet as a heel because it's still night one or whatever it officially or whatever the fuck they're doing with it. But I just didn't. My beef wasn't more so in this regard, wasn't with Becky. It was more so with Bianca Belair because I know that Bianca Belair, she's that bitch, like lack of a better word. Like Bianca Belair is that motherfucker. So so when you see the little things happening, it's like, oh no, you got to catch that because you're supposed to be it. So when you become that mother, that's what separates the good ones from the great ones are the small, minute details. You see what I'm saying? That's why I look at Roman Reigns different than I look at Bobby Lashley, even though Bobby Lashley and MVP are slowly closing that. You know what I'm saying? But now back onto the next segment. So they go in there. We spoke about it earlier.
This shit pissed me off. Go ahead. Go on.
Carmella. I mean, yeah. Because no. Zelina Vega came out first. Zelina Vega should be a manager. She's not.
She could perform. She could perform, but she
should be a manager. She could take some bumps as a manager. She could talk. Zelina Vega can get you heat. She can get heat, but I don't buy her in that ring. I don't know.
I do, man, because she can move. Like, the problem is like
her shit's not tight.
It's not that it's not tight. It's that she's so small. When she hits someone really has to. The cell needs to match the impact. You see what I'm saying?
But she don't get. That's what I'm trying to state is that she doesn't. She's too small to even bring the oomph. Either she's got to start laying this shit in, or like it's
upper
just
calories.
I don't.
She needs upper calories and get some thump in her because like for some reason it's not work. Like it's like. Remember when Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels had that beef? Remember Hulk Hogan didn't want Shawn Michaels to go over, and Shawn was selling everything from the leg or everything. It almost seems like that, but unintentional. When Zelina Vega does something because she's so small, her opponents don't find the gauge to like how it should be. Like when Big Show fucking clapped your chest, right? That looked like, they wouldn't oversell it. They sold it so high because
accurately,
a 400-pound man doing 500-pound. They build him right. The same thing with Zelina. It almost seems oversold because she's so small, and it is her fault, and it's not her. It's not her fault she's so small. But it is her fault for staying that small.
No, you know what? I'm not even telling her to get huge, but no, it's her fault for not making it realistic. Because in the sense of Alexa, I buy Alexa Bliss. I buy Alexa Bliss.
True. They have the same.
I've bought Alexa Bliss versus Ronda Rousey. I've bought Alexa Bliss going against Nia Jax, even beating Nia Jax. No, I don't think she's got it as a wrestler. And once again, fucking mine. But I'm just stating my opinion. I think the money there is money with Zelina Vega, but the money is her having a stable and her being the head of the stable. She should have a corporation where she's like, yo, listen. I do nothing but get top guys and top girls. Baby, you need a title pitch. You need to get there.
Yeah,
you gotta come through. You gotta come through. You gotta come through me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the one who get this. I'm shaking. I'm moving. I'm pushing. You see what I'm saying?
Sexy Teddy Long. You know what I mean?
Like not even Teddy. Like if Teddy Long was a manager, but who was a good-looking bitch who can then speak Spanish and belittle these middle country white men, make them feel less than because she's bilingual. You know what I'm saying?
She had with Andrade and what's his name? The dude that pulls his pants off. I don't even remember his name because I don't even see him anymore.
Who you talking about? Austin Theory?
No. Remember when?
The other Spanish. Yeah. But I think I know you're talking about Angel Garza. Angel Garza.
Yeah, where the fuck has he been?
Don't know, because once again, I think that they fucked those guys because they tried to stop giving these people traditional whatever they are gimmicks. Let these motherfuckers be who they. I agree with you.
But Zelina she was the perfect manager for that. Imagine if it doesn't even have to be all. It doesn't have to be all Latins. It doesn't.
No. It can't be. It kills if you only make her. She's Latin,
like MVP.
It kills the gimmick. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
She's like MVP. She can talk. She's about that business. She could make those little moves and shit like that. She could use her appearance to like draw these dudes in, and she could be like you watch The Walking Dead. You ever watch it or anything like that?
I used to watch it.
Man, but like season like 8, 9, and 10 right now, like they had this girl. She led these dudes with like they used to wear like the zombie mask and shit. Like they used to cut.
I remember that bitch.
Yep, they called her Alpha.
She
should be like the head bitch in charge. Like she is the alpha. Yes. And like that, she would have stables of stacked dudes. Imagine if Andrade stood, but he's not there anymore, right? Because he's AEW.
Here's something funny. There's only one Latin star I want to see her with because the gimmick's not based on him being Latin. It has to be based on her being Latin, and that would be fucking Damian Priest. Ooh. But I don't need to see her with anyone else. Like you know what would be interesting? Hear me out. She's creating this stable, right? Mm-hmm. Now I'm just backseat bookings because let's say we don't have her as a wrestler, but you have her as a manager, a money-making manager, because she gets heat, right? You got Alpha Academy. Alpha Academy can actually go. They can go.
Yeah.
And then they both can kind of talk. But could you imagine if Zelina Vega goes up to them and be, yo, listen, poppies. whatever. You got it. You can do it, but you're missing something. Nobody's really giving you that opportunity because money talk bullshit is
alpha.
raw.
She becomes the alpha.
You come over here. I'm gonna make sure you get paid. I handle all your contract negotiations. I handle your contract. I'll get you the money matches, but you gotta win them shits. And if you need help, you know what I mean. Whatever. And then you give her guys like Alpha Academy. Then you maybe give her a fucking singles woman. Then you give her. Don't give her a top guy yet, but you give her a mid carder that you want to make into a top guy. Like for instance, maybe you give her Ricochet.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we get, and here's the conversation that they have. Ricochet, baby, come here.
You want that next step?
You doing all this, and what are they doing for you? They got you out here going against these nobodies, losing to nobody. Listen, if you're gonna lose to somebody, if you're gonna lose, you should make money doing it. I can at least get you where you need to go. Whatever you do from that is whatever you do from that. I'll be in your corner until you a bad investment. And maybe and you can even make it so that some of the people in the faction become bad investments. She takes them out. You know what I'm saying? With someone else in the faction, you can.
And they're losing.
There's a litany of things.
They get like stomped out. You know who will be perfect? This is who I think it should be. It should be. Fuck. Why do I always forget his name? I always call Otis. And I forget his partner's name.
Gable.
Otis, Gable, Ricochet, and then the beef between Mustafa Ali and Mansoor. And Mansoor becomes a heel because he's like, I'm about my business. I'm gonna go with Zelina. Dude, you have those four. It's different, and you have them different from Hurt Business because it's not a black thing. It's not a black.
No, but they're not even that because Zelina's different from MVP in the sense of you make it known that like I'm taking your contract no longer is with WWE. Your contract's with me.
My cut's off the top right there.
Right off of you work for you. You're all independent contractors. I'm your not your agent, whatever the fuck they want to call her. But I'm the one who gets you agent. Maybe agent would be the best. I'm getting you these matches and you get her out there. Maybe she helps them cheat, whatever the case may be. Maybe some people can't fucking get it together. She hires someone else, gets them out. Because remember, agents will drop clients. Like, yeah, I work for you, but realistically, it's kind of a partnership. And then we've seen them fucking drop how many comedians or actors? I think the money with Zelina Vega.
And you can feed into that too, because Zelina be like this. If they're losing, like sweetie, you canceled yourself. Boom, out and get stomped out. Mud stomp.
You got it perfect. But like Zelina Vega's money, just not as a wrestler.
WWE,
now, speaking of money,
at me.
Speaking of money, we got to talk about Mella is money.
Yeah.
Now, Carmella, I'm going to say this.
Oh, she gets under my skin too.
Carmella's the reason I think the women's division. Here's what they should have done. There should not be two women's championships belts for each program. You should have one women's championship belt, and then you should have one like intercontinental, and kind of have them switching back and forth between the shows. Because the reason being is because you have some of these women who were like your past main event women who I can still buy as being main event, but you got to have them flounder and look like fucking yahoos because they don't have anything to go for or to fight for. You see what I mean? Or you don't give them a meaningful, true program. Like I know what you were trying to do with Belair, but you didn't need to do it at the expense of Carmella because Carmella, the bitch is money. Let's stop fronting that. Like, she is bread.
Because she's good looking. They hate on her. Like, I don't get it.
That's because they're fucking losers and they're basement dwellers. And they get mad because you know what? You got fucking Carmella, who is money, who looks like money. Realistically, like she everything she says is fucking probably true. And then after that, oh, I'm sorry, she's with the announcer, but not the ugly one. She's got another bad motherfucker. And God forbid these two have some good looking ass kids and they probably are fucking filthy rich. Of course you have these fucking basement dwellers are going to be so upset at her, and these fucking people who fucking can't fucking decide to go to the gym to do a goddamn 4 sit-ups want to sit here and hate on her. Listen, hate on her if you want to. This bitch is money.
She can move in the ring. She is what Eva Marie should be.
Yes. And it's for that reason I'm thinking you need to do something to her as there are certain women that should be kept within a certain level. Like I don't want Carmella to fall into like the kind of Dolph Ziggler kind of lane. Like,
bro,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. Like Dolph had it. But the problem was him. Like word on the street.
Dolph has it still. I think
he has it. Word on the street was like he doesn't play well with executives. He doesn't play well with others. Like he says what he says, and he don't give. He's like Shawn Michaels back in the day without being Shawn Michaels because he didn't have. Well, I have this. He doesn't have the type. He didn't have those things. He wasn't selling out like Shawn Michaels was. He didn't even get to that point. With Carmella, it is like a female Dolph Ziggler in that sense of like she has that it factor, but they're gonna fuck her over time and time again because she is the pretty girl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the issue is that she has the it factor, but then it's like she compared to a few other girls, it's in a different time. Like if Carmella in a different time, Carmella is that bitch. And I don't understand why she's not. She should still be in the like. She should still be one of those, no matter what program she's on, Raw, SmackDown, she should definitely always be like a top fucking guy. And I'm saying top guy because we're not being sexist. She should be a fucking top guy. Yeah, she should be, you know what I'm saying? She should be at the fucking, she shouldn't be doing what they're doing the way with her and fucking, her and Bianca and all them. But listen, hold on. Now, let me tell you something right now. The old homie Liv Morgan, there's some dollars there, baby. There's something. First of all, Shorty can go. Shorty can go, Shorty can talk. And she was able to get in this little like cattiness that didn't even sound catty.
Bro, but when Carmella said, "Oh, that's why you were back in catering," I was like, "Oh, it felt real." It was like when John Cena and Roman were going back and forth about like, about missionary position. I'm like, "Ooh, you don't talk about catering, dog." Like, dude,
it was
it felt real. It felt like, "Ooh, I want to see them go at it." Yeah,
I'm digging Liv Morgan. I'm digging her, but then that's why I'm saying the women need that second title because we need to. Because unfortunately, right now is you're in the main event or you're not. But there needs to be something that kind of can bridge that, or you can build prestige around, or something along those lines. But because the women division in WWE excites me way more than their men because these bitches are fucking about
Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. I was so excited for fucking SummerSlam, and then like we can't forget about Sasha Banks. She'll be in there. She could go with any of them, and she will make a good storyline. It will be perfect. The problem with like Bianca Belair or stuff like that, she has this shtick that she has to stay with. Bianca Belair can go from heel to babyface to heel, and it is seamless. You see, remember with Sasha Banks, like her and Bianca Belair, they were buzz, and then she catches her in her finisher and shit. Like I'm like, damn, she caught her in the code breaker and everything like that. And I was like, okay, we have like Sasha Banks is that person. The problem is like, it's inconsistent. She gets in trouble because of social media, because of her beliefs, which I don't even think should be a thing. Whatever you believe on social media should be your thing, right? She got I think she got COVID. I don't know what the thing is. She has problem with management, how she got booked. So it's like she is such a star, but I feel like she could be a diva as well.
Well,
I don't know.
No, shout out to fuck that. Shout out to her because you know what? One thing that all the good wrestlers state that you hear is that you got to be selfish in this business.
Yep,
you got to fucking take a lot more than you give in certain regards.
But that's the problem.
So I'm not mad at her.
I'm not against it. However, it's almost like WWE is against it. You see what I'm saying? Like I like that Sasha.
They gave her that money. They gave her. Remember throughout all that beef, they re-signed her ass, and then guess what? They've kept her. Sasha stays at like a top level.
Yeah.
Even when she's not in the top picture, she's still revered as top level.
It just cut out. I don't know what happened.
No, that was me. I pressed enter. But guess what, people? Boom, boom. We were out and then we came right back in. It took us fucking 30 seconds. We back at it, baby. We don't stop.
Oh, it's those 5G towers?
No. It literally was because I don't know why my mouse was there and I clicked enter by accident, whatever.
No, but like what you were saying is like with Sasha Banks, and that's what I'm a first of all, beautiful woman, right? She's up there with like I can't even like a male counterpart of like what that Sasha Banks brings. Like I don't know, like from like on the male side of the roster that Sasha Banks is equivalent to.
What, aggressively looking good towards? I don't know, Finn Balor.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. Right there, right? But she Sasha Banks and her, like if you about like it, you could almost interchange with like looks wise. Like she has the perfect look. Finn Balor has the perfect look. Sasha Banks has something that like I love Finn Balor. I liked him from from New Japan and shit like that and everything like that. But with Sasha, she has that where she goes in a room, she stops the room. She stops the arena. She goes in there, whatever angle she has, whatever, if she's the heel, the baby face, you're going to be like, yo. My wife, when we were watching, like when they were doing like the intros or like they were doing the build up between Sasha and Bianca, and it's like, she's like, I got emotional, right? She saw it. And then when they said that Sasha wasn't performing, they were like, my wife said, fuck this. I was the same way. Because she has that it factor. If she doesn't show,
you're pissed off. Yeah, no, I think a lot of people were mad at that, and rightfully so. But listen, these women
fits right in with whatever's going on right now.
She's a bad bitch. These women, they end up having a fatal 4-way match, which I happen to like. It could have been a triple threat. Zelina, once again, as we previously stated, she should not be wrestler, should be a top manager. Fucking great match though. Love the back and forth between Liv and Bianca. There's definitely money within Liv eventually. Challenge, don't maybe even become the champion, whatever, eventually. But there's definitely something there with her. She stepped up when she needed to. Now on to the next thing. Then we go into this whole kind of thing between Jimmy and Jey Uso, as well as Paul Heyman with the whole Brock Lesnar thing. And to be honest with you, I could have did without it.
Yep.
Could have did without it because, first of all, I understand that Paul Heyman's a snake. I understand that Paul is this, Paul is that. But the way that Paul had sold the whole thing and the fact that they never even got, there was no Vons and suit, like it was just a little too much. They could have, and I know why they did it because later on we see the thing with Roman, but I could have did without this little portion.
He sold it perfectly on SummerSlam. Oh my God, like he saw a fucking ghost. And he walked out with Roman. And that's all he
yelled. First of all, he yelled no. Like, no. And then fucking Brock walks towards him. He's like a fucking whimpering child. You let in that case, it was a little too soon for it. You should have waited, I thought. All right. But then we get into real wrestling. We get into we get into a fucking match that I thoroughly enjoyed. And that was Cesaro versus Gable. And Gable had Otis.
Perfect babyface versus heel, and I loved it.
And perfect heel interference by Otis. I loved it. It did what it was supposed to do. I guess they're beefing, going to continue that going on. This is the Otis that should have won that Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yep.
But now it makes sense to me why Vince McMahon did all that. Because he was like, I got to change you, but I got to have a reason to change you. And you're too over as Otis for me to just send you home and have you come. No, I'm going to do it live. Because he likes Otis. Because there's money in Otis. And the way that Otis looks right now, Otis looks fucking scary.
Yeah, he looks like that dude that's deadlifting 800 pounds in the gym. If you ask him how many sets he has, he will rip you apart. That's what he looks like.
Yep. And
he's imposing at 5'9". He's just the way he walks, because he still has the same walk he did, but just his facial features change. Like, no beard, the hair. He looks like if a fan touches him, like back in the day, like WWF days, he's just on a backhand. He has what JBL had, but smushed down into this compact thing.
Well, you know what I think makes him more dangerous is the fact of that's a legitimate Division I wrestler.
Yep. And
that's a man
now. Yep.
Who is a legitimate Olympian.
Yep.
So these are two guys legitimately is fucking up 95% of the fans in there, and the other 5% may be because of size matchups, dudes actually still train, whatever the case may be. But most men are not doing nothing with either one of them.
Yep.
So and I'm glad that they're starting to take that more serious with him. Listen,
SmackDown is the it brand. I prefer SmackDown over Raw.
SmackDown is money right now.
Yep.
Now we have oh,
my boy Cesaro.
no, nothing. Well, Cesaro. I think. Well, and I'm not saying that in a negative way, but what I mean is, you should have get off the pot with Cesaro in the sense of, if you buy into him and build him correctly, I think if you built Cesaro for a year properly, you could then insert him into the main event picture and make money with Cesaro. You could, especially as a babyface, because the one thing Cesaro has on the side right now is equity with the WWE Universe. We've been with Cesaro for the ups, the downs, the kind of flat line. We've been there.
I like Cesaro as a heel when he first came. I don't know. I like Cesaro as a heel.
I don't give a shit. You can make him a babyface. You can make him a heel. Yeah. I buy Cesaro in either way, but I think you have to buy the main. If they bought into building him, you can have a champ. You could, if they built him, you can do what you did with JBL in the sense of, he may not be the most notable champion of all time, but he's going to give you a notable feud that y'all can make money off of for a while. JBL and Eddie Guerrero made Eddie Guerrero. Cesaro could give you a feud that makes somebody, but you got to make Cesaro to do it.
I think I agree.
You got to make Cesaro. You got to make him.
What you mean that Cesaro will be Eddie Guerrero, or he's being the
JBL? No, he would be JBL in the sense of Cesaro, because hear me out.
Yeah, but JBL had that mouthpiece though, bro. JBL could talk. Cesaro's not on that level.
You could, here's the thing though. I think Cesaro, if you let Cesaro's personality come out, the one that you see on Up, Down, Down, the one that when he's actually being let him loose a little bit, but build him. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if you'll make him a heel or babyface, whichever one I would go to him and say, what do you feel more natural doing from a talking standpoint? Because you can do your work in the ring from either one. That's not the case. That's not the question. Which one do you feel more comfortable with? Once he tells them that, they go back, write it from that angle. Don't give a fuck if he's a good guy or a bad guy, but make him, and then do it slowly, because we've been here for it. Yeah. But don't rush it, because we haven't seen him as that guy. You make him slowly.
Do you think it's possible for him to do it? Because you have something special with Chad Gable and you have something special with Otis. You know what I mean? So I think they're going to go the Otis route though. And then Chad's unfortunately is going to be thrown to the wayside. He was used to build Otis up because Chad is this Olympian, right? Which is unfortunate that they didn't have the respect for him until now. They had him Shorty G, whatever. I'm like, yo, this is sad. I hated that whole moniker they had for him because he could literally ankle pick you and drop you on your fucking head.
I think
everything that Otis is what they wanted Chad Gable to be. But unfortunately, because Chad Gable's only 5'7" and about 210 pounds.
Well, this is what I believe truthfully. I think that they could make both of those guys, but you're gonna have to give them the belts.
And Zelina Vega to manage them for the Alpha Academy.
Jesus Christ, that would be amazing. But I think they can make both of those. I think they can make both of those guys. But honestly, we're gonna bet it obviously would be Otis. But I think that both of those guys could be made if they do it right. But the question is, will they do it right? Don't know. But now going on to this King Corbin shit.
This what
Happy Corbin. He's Happy Corbin now because he's rich. He won money in Vegas.
He's so happy. Just Corbin. He's
happy. He says he wants to be called Happy Corbin. That's what I'm gonna call the man. Happy Corbin.
I like Corbin. I think he's such a good worker, man. And then they put him in these King Corbin was the best. I just didn't like why they got him dressing out here like the right to censor with the fucking button down. I don't like that shit. If he had proper ring attire, show the tattoos. The dude's and shit. Dude is built. He may not be a bodybuilder built, but he's built like an athlete. And WWE is going down either you're a lean athlete, like a Damian Priest built, which King Corbin is. You know what I mean? He went from fat to slim, slim to fat, fat to slim. Or you have the Brock Lesnar's or Bobby Lashley's. You know what I mean? King Corbin, whatever his fucking moniker is now, Happy Corbin could be something special, but they're giving him the Cesaro treatment right now. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I think so here's my thing with Corbin. One, this is no disrespect to Corbin, but this is just real facts.
Yep.
If you haven't been talking to an agent to try to get you in some form of Hollywood, you're out of your fucking mind. And what I mean by that is you, my good sir, have been the only person within modern history that I can believe and I can remember that has turned chicken shit into chicken salad. They gave you a fucked up gimmick by making you seem like this fucking loser. And you somehow, some way came out there every single week, sold it. You ended up getting me to buy into it in the sense of, damn, I feel bad for the guy. For you to do some asshole shit for me to then say, well, good for him. And then every time you came on screen, it never offended me. I never was like, I got to turn this shit. Like, I was like, oh, what's Corbin got for me today? Now this Happy Corbin shit, yo, fucking, if you haven't talked to somebody in Hollywood to be like, look at the shit I do every week, I'm a fucking genius, then I don't know what's going on, Baron. But back to you in wrestling, which I also very much buy. I'm buying. Here's the thing. I like the character growth that they're going to give for Corbin. I think that, like you said, they are giving him this is in the sense of
they're testing him out. They're giving him feelers now for a bigger spot.
Well, not for even think about it. Actually, Corbin's kind of been a mainstay for a few years now. And I think the reason, like, he was in, remember him as the Raw GM. How many segments was this man getting a night? We are, if you think about it, we have been conditioned to see Corbin throughout a show, which is probably why now I don't get offended when I see him continuing storylines throughout a show. But he's like
I think. Truth. Like, when I see R-Truth, I'm still happy. But I don't want him to get the R-Truth treatment. K-Quick, whatever the fuck his name is, I like R-Truth. I wish he got a bigger push. I hope they don't sacrifice Corbin like they are with him.
But you know what, though? I guess the thing is, you kind of he's kind of had everything except for the top title. And right now, the top guy's a heel. And you don't need to put Roman and him going against each other. No. So I guess that you're making him still seem relevant without having to do much. You know what I mean?
You're making him relevant, but if you want him to succeed and get to that next level, you have to. In order, you got to buy into him. You have to buy him. I like Corbin, but you have to stop with making him look vulnerable. What separates the top guys, the main eventers, from the mid-carders is that vulnerability thing, and they have too much of that. With the gimmick, it's funny, it's cool in regards to being important.
I get you.
Like, but the vulnerability, you have to, it's almost how they did with Karrion Kross. They were fucking him up, right? And then they brought him back to like, okay, you this killer. They need to get Corbin. Corbin trains Muay Thai. He trains martial art. He does that type of shit, right?
He's a Golden Glove boxer.
Yeah, dude, he's legit.
Yeah,
I watched his old shit on YouTube. Like, okay, he has a nice jab. You need to kind of give him that. All right, I'm not playing. This was fun in games. Now watch what really happened. You want to get gully with it? You get gully with it.
Well, you know what? I think the issue is that Corbin can get heat and keep it, no matter what he does.
You could do it, but don't look vulnerable.
I think, he shouldn't be that vulnerable on it. Because, obviously, heels, he shouldn't be that vulnerable, but like. Week to week, heels in WWE, week to week, you can make a heel vulnerable as long as they're going to be winning or somehow still coming out of whatever that equation that is. I just think that they just need to go ahead and just say, you know what? Eventually, we're going to have to give Corbin a shot. But the thing is, right now, that title picture is too heavy. But enough on Corbin. Let's get on to the next match. So we got Shinsuke Nakamura and
I
Rick
love King Nakamura.
Boogs.
Rick Boogs is on the same trajectory as Damian Priest. I say that right now. I am a huge Rick Boogs fan. First of all, amazing collegiate wrestler. Collegiate wrestler.
Collegiate,
right? Mm-hmm. And he has that it fact. You believe it when he has what Riddle, like, Matt Riddle's whole shtick. He's what Matt Riddle should be. Like that. I believe it. I believe
No, don't say that about Riddle. No, Riddle's exactly what he should, because those two different guys. Riddle is doing exactly what Riddle should be doing. Being the stoner who could legitimately kick your ass.
I
Do
take
that
it back.
shit with him.
But you know what I'm saying? Like that goofiness that I believe he's like, I'm goofy, but I'll beat your ass. I like that about Rick.
Yeah.
And he got the body for it. Dude, he's an Adonis. Dude, he's just built. He looked like he has like that thick fucking collegiate wrestler. Like, dude, you see him on Instagram benching 4 plates for reps, doing wild shit. And he takes real collegiate wrestling moves and he uses it. From the fireman's carry, from having Gable grips to all this shit, it works. And Nakamura's entrance is my favorite shit. Just coming in there and being all extra he is, it's perfect.
I honestly like the whole interest part of it is like whatever to me. The only part I like of it is
whatever. That
good evening. No. This is literally, but I'm still putting over Rick Boogs, but I'm just stating my favorite part of it is just when he goes, "Oh, and my name is Rick." Ooh, that's my favorite part. Everything else I can do without.
But the entrance song is dope. I like Nakamura's entrance song. With the
No. I like I don't think that we need.
Yeah.
I don't need Rick doing it, but I know why they're doing it. They're getting us to look at and put Rick in a different place. I like it. This match was great. Obviously, fucking Robert Roode and fucking Dolph Ziggler are just two fucking dudes, and these guys are just too damn good. And it's just a shame that WWE never did what they were supposed to do with Dolph. Like, don't get me wrong, Dolph is making a lot of money. Like, Dolph is fine. But I'm stating that I would have loved to see Dolph be that dude, especially when you had him, AJ Lee, and the Big E. Oh, God. Dolph Ziggler is fucking money. And then Robert Roode is another pro.
Robert Roode,
great.
Robert Roode gave me those Triple H vibes back in the, you know what I mean? He got like, right? He could, like, the way the way he wears his face. I'm like, he could have been something. And time is of the essence now because that dude's like 43, and they're not gonna. He is what he is gonna be, and it's sad that WWE did not see more in that man.
But you never know. He may be able to go to the next level. Who knows? But all right. So
I think it's the Roman Reigns shit, right?
No, we got to talk about Dominic Mysterio versus Sami Zayn. All right, here's the stick.
I love Sami Zayn. Dominic,
and he beat Dominic. I'm happy. Here's my issue. One,
Dominic don't got biceps because that's my issue.
He doesn't look like a man, and he looks like. And I get it. He's a 21, whatever. He's a grown man. He gets paid more than me. I get it. Whatever. But what I'm stating is that I'm sorry.
They're playing it that way. They're making him do kid shit, which I like about it. Like when he tried to help his father win, right? And he's like, no, you don't do that and all that stuff. I like it. But book them long story tag teams, or they're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to make Ray versus Dominic.
No, they have been, because they've been a tag team for a little bit now, right? They've gone through a few people. They've
but they're hinting at it now, and I think it's too soon. They want Dominic to be his own. Look, when he's like, you can't do that. And Dominic, you see the frustration in his eye when his father's trying to help him. I think they're going to try to make Dominic a heel. And you know what I mean? They're going to, and Dominic
should, in my mind, I think because of the way this has been going out, obviously he should be a heel, but I just need him to go to, it just doesn't, listen, as my football coaches would say in college or even in high school, you're just too light in the ass. You got to put some weight on, man. This is crazy. So now, all right, we're off
everything in the ring. He just do some power cleans, and
some of it looks jerky even in the ring though, but it's all right.
Do some trend, a cycle of trend. He'll be good.
Now, hey, listen, so next is in the final segment. We have come to the tribal chief Roman Reigns with his lackeys, the Usos, with the special counsel of Paul Heyman. They're going out there cutting a promo, talking about John Cena, talking about fucking Brock. Doesn't matter. And then what happens is then you got fucking the Finn Balor comes out.
I didn't like it.
Listen. Finn Balor can be the guy.
Yep.
But
1,000%.
Before you put him in the ring with Roman Reigns, he's got to beat up some big guys. Right? I mean, I need him to come out of 2 programs. 2, not 1, but 2. I need 2 programs with big dudes where Finn Balor beats them. And then we get on the Roman Reigns. Because now, psychologically in my mind, I have been desensitized and I'm used to seeing Finn Balor go against people way bigger than him that fucking looked like something, because Roman not only is way bigger than Finn Balor, but Roman looks like something. And then besides that, Roman can talk and Paul Heyman can talk. So before you, my issue with WWE is that sometimes they throw people into stuff and it's like, you gotta build them to that. You knew you wanted Finn to do this eventually. You knew this is where it was going. You should have been building his ass. You got 200 people on the roster. We could have been seeing Finn Balor fuck up big people to the end of time, and you wouldn't have had mess with any superstar doing anything current.
Because he had that trajectory to go up. But
exactly,
I call it the Ricochet effect. They're doing Finn Balor dirty. Look what they did with Ricochet. Remember, we talked about earlier how they had Ricochet go against Brock. Remember, he was being cheesy and all that shit. Ricochet is like we always say, is Finn Balor light. And what
he's a poor man's Finn. He's a poor man's Finn.
Yep, poor man's Finn, right? Finn Balor does everything. Ricochet does everything what Finn Balor does, but Finn Balor just has that it factor. He can talk. He can
talk. That's why
his look too, because he looks like he's right down the middle. He looks like he's right down the middle of it. Like, like
he could be a good guy. Well, he's got
that Triple H vibe. Like right down the middle.
He's like, I could be a good guy or I could be this menacing heel.
But I'm here for me.
Yes.
If you line up with me and you're a good guy and it works out in my favor, cool. But if I don't see any value out of it, I'm fucking you up. And the problem, what I'm saying is they're doing the Ricochet effect. They're just putting Finn Balor in there because he is the guy. He can make it be believable, but he's just a bookmark until Lesnar can have his first match on his $1 million contract, which he only has to do 8 matches in a 365-day calendar.
But we don't want Brock Lesnar for more than that. Because guess what? The thing that makes Brock Lesnar. We don't want Brock every week. First of all, baby.
No, here's why. No, you're wrong on this. Here's why you want Lesnar. I want a big buildup against Roman Reigns. This is what I want. I want that whole Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns thing to go on with Lesnar. Lesnar is kind of a mercenary doing his own fucking thing. He's not a heel. He's not necessarily a babyface, but he's over because people know how fucking menacing he is, and they just want to see Lesnar. He's polarizing. People when they hear Brock Lesnar came back, it was even on fucking Sports Center. When Brock Lesnar came back, it was on MMA websites, right? Brock Lesnar is a badass. I want him and I want Roman to lose, and then you have Brock. And then you have Lashley still coming up, and they meet in the middle for fucking SummerSlam. Right? So that is the match to make it a legit unified world championship.
Well, all right. I get you. Well, one, I don't think WWE is going to unify the championship just because of money reasons. What I mean by that is they got two different networks, too much. Yep. You got to have a guy for each one, right? Now, the second thing is the thing that makes Brock is the fact that you only get Brock for big money events. Brock is a legitimate mainstream guy, a main event guy, and legitimate a big fight feel. We don't get you. Listen, you consume it. You know what I mean? You only get those guys X amount of time a year. So I'm fine with Brock doing that because anybody Brock goes in the ring with, usually with the exception of Ricochet, because we knew what was going to happen with that, you get the rub of being in there with Brock. You get a little taste of that invincibility when you go into something else with somebody else, as long as you carry your business the way you should. So no, I think I want Brock the way that we've been getting Brock. The thing is, I don't know if I wanted this Brock and Reigns shit this fast. And the reason I'm saying that is because I would have rather this. I would have rather fucking Bobby Lashley put an end to Goldberg, be done with that. Roman, be done with Cena, and then be done whatever he needs to, because when we have Survivor Series, brand versus brand, my mind, you should be building both. Well, not really, because Roman, you keep doing whatever you're doing to Roman, but you got to make Bobby Lashley a threat to Roman on the other show, because we have Roman versus Bobby at Survivor Series. I think that because you know that's next up. I would love that at WrestleMania, but that is going to be the next boom. Maybe we can use that match eventually, can set up something down the line where one of them loses a belt, they can trade to the other show. Now they're going back and forth for that belt, whatever the case may be. But I would have liked to have that match happen. Then we get into fucking, maybe then we can get a Brock versus Bobby, right? Then after that, I can see Brock and Reigns.
Every time I see Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg, I get pissed off. Every time I see Brock Lesnar against Goldberg, I get pissed off because it's literally Bobby Lashley light or Brock Lesnar light. They put Bill Goldberg in as an interchangeable person for Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, and it's annoying at this point. Just give everyone what they want. But the problem is, you give everyone what they want, people still fucking complain about it because it's not the way they wanted it.
Well, here's the thing. What makes Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar the best and the most appealing is the fact of, let's be honest, Brock Lesnar subconsciously or consciously can't go in that match just stating, this is what we're going to do. Because Bobby Lashley can go, no, we're not. And then Brock can go, oh, really? And Bobby can go, no, we're not. What do you want to... That's what makes it so intriguing to us because... One, the reason you watch wrestling is because you want to be able to suspend disbelief. These two, because can legitimately fight.
Yep.
It don't get no better than that. It don't get, you could, if a fight breaks out during that, you're like, holy shit. And then it comes down to who's going to win. I know people are going to say that, oh, Brock Lesnar could fucking kill Bobby. Can he? Bobby was out here at Bellator. He was undefeated in Bellator.
He's like 16-3 or some shit like that. Good record. He
also remember he was wrestling for the United States Army or whatever, the Marines. Marines, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I think it was well, hold on, let me look it up because the reason I'm saying that is because Bobby Lashley is also Special Forces.
I didn't know that.
Special Forces. Yeah. Hold on. Yep. I'm about to confirm it right. Yeah, Bobby Lashley was fucking Special Forces, if I'm not mistaken. That's what makes this whole thing more astounding to me in certain regards.
But you have to forget though. You forget though with Lesnar. Lesnar is really cool with putting people over. He's fine with losing matches as long as it tells the story. Remember when McIntyre him had that the whole program, everything like that, and you hear Lesnar, they showed a video, he's like, pick up the belt when he's laying on the ground. He has no problem putting people over.
Oh no, of course not. No. But what I'm stating is that, and actually, I can't get confirmation that Bobby was special. I thought that I've heard them say he was Special Forces, or whatever the case may be. But the thing is, you're right. Brock will put someone over if the money's right for it and if it makes sense. But what I'm stating is that what makes the match really more intriguing to me is the fact that Brock Lesnar can't go in there and impose his will against Bobby Lashley because Bobby Lashley legitimately could say no.
Yeah. Because he did that shit with Cena. Remember when he first came back? He's like, yo, it's going to be a street fight. He did that shit with Randy Orton. With Lashley, it's literally a different ballgame. Because it's going to be like King Kong versus fucking Godzilla right there in the center. And I'm all about it.
Yeah, but, it's going to be great.
But we'll see what happens. Because we still got Roman Reigns and Finn Balor. And Brock Lesnar has to go through that whole thing.
He's got to wait for that. Well, we'll see. Well, listen here, people. You got fucking Monday Night Raw coming up. If you're listening to this, you can go tune in right to Monday Night Raw after that. Then after that, you're going to have the Smackdown. Listen, this is coming out on August 30th. Don't worry. Unfortunately, my fucking co-host has got me watching this goddamn Drek that is called AEW, and we'll be releasing the AEW version of this on September 1. So listen, as you listen to this on August 30th, enjoy yourself. You're a true wrestling fan. Come on back. We'll be watching this. We're going to be reviewing AEW and it's nonsense, and we're going to release the previous episode before their new episode comes out. This has been a fucking wonderful goddamn episode of No Cell Podcast. I am Dean. Gio, do you have anything to say before we close this bitch out?
No. Tune in if you're a pro wrestling fan. If you just like wrestling, just fucking listen to this podcast. That's all I got. I just get hyped about it because we just talk about this off air for like 45 minutes. It don't matter. We give our take. I'm excited for the AEW episode come out, for the Black Cornet to come out. I am going to
Let me tell you something, people. If people don't know about it, yes, I am a member of the Cult of Cornette. That is one of the podcasts that I consume regularly. I consume Jim Cornette regularly. I consume YMH regularly.
You're bringing me to the dark side.
You should, because AEW is a bunch of dreck. Don't get me wrong. WWE has done some offensive shit, but fucking WWE Light is on a whole nother level, baby. But it's all right. You come back and you can hear me get all the way fired up. You can hear Gio trying to fucking defend these bastards for some silly reason, because he's better than this. He's better than this. He's better than this. His wife married a man better than this, but he continues to fucking put their family name down by supporting this fucking outlaw mud show goof of a show. But it's all right. We'll be back to talk about it. I am Dean. That over there is Gio. This has been No Sell Podcast, episode 1. Peace, love, and chicken, baby. We are out. Ha ha.